Hello everyone, it is Toru from BitcoinCash. It is 20th of November, and I want to talk about one sort of controversial issue of Bitcoin. Sometimes people talk Bitcoin as a digital gold or store of value, and I would say if the situation keep continue, like transaction fee is high or like a transaction is slow or everything if keeps going as is, store of value or digital gold doesn't exist. It doesn't work as a gold. So that I want to talk about that controversial issue today, right? Okay, all right. So as you guys, everybody knows, the increasing of the transaction fee doesn't seems like stopping. Like a Bitcoin transaction fee is really high. If you send, say, for example, $2 or $3, it costs somewhere around dollar of the cost, and it's pretty ridiculous to send money, right? So everybody started to use Bitcoin because that was a very low fee. I started to use Bitcoin back in 2013, and at the time, if I send $1, the cost was it's pretty much zero, right? However, now it's a different story. Mempool is full. If I send, if I fee is low, it takes maybe 3 or 4 or 5 days, to include it in a block, anything. However, I sometimes hear people discuss something like, oh, I don't care about transaction cost or the speed because Bitcoin works as a store of value or digital gold. However, it's not going to work like that way. So I just want to talk about it. So I just want to use a little idea of comparison as a I just gotta have a little piece of gold. This is a 5 gram. It's about $200, I believe, and here is a silver. So let's just think about these two as a store of value, right? So if you have got a same value of gold or the silver, which one would you like to prefer? And probably majority of people takes gold. The reason is it's smaller, right? If say for example, if you try to store your annual income to the store of value to the gold, it's say for example medium income is somewhere around 45,000 US dollars in the US. So what's gonna happen is if 45,000 US dollars, it's pretty much 1 kilograms of gold. So it's gonna be the size of this, smartphone's size of the gold. I hope this was a real, but it's not. Anyway, so you can store your annual income to 1 kilograms of gold. That's one case. The other one is if you try to store your value to this silver, what's gonna happen is as of now, you can see that the price ratio between gold and silver is 75 times. So your 1 kilograms gold is equivalent to 75 kilograms of silver, right? So if you just store your silver at your bedroom or basement and never moves it, that's fine. However, why people choose gold is because mobility, right? So if you need to move yourself to, say for example, Zimbabwe or like in Nigeria or such countries, with your asset with you, which you're gonna choose is gold, right? So simply because you can carry 1 kilograms of gold pretty easily stuck in your bag, and that's it. However, if it's silver, you need to carry 75 kilograms. That's probably 155 or 160 pounds, which is the whole same weight with the adult man, right? So it's pretty much you need to carry 1 man with you to carry your annual income instead of just 1 kilograms. So which you're gonna choose is of course gold. However, there is a way that you can carry your 75 kilograms of silver. What you're gonna do is you're gonna deposit your 75 kilograms to your trusted party. Say for example, you have your very trusted person in your friend, and you're just gonna pass it your 75 kilograms of silver, right? And your trusted friend will gives you this paper, right? I have a silver. Your trusted friend gives you this, ticket of paper, right? and just take it out. So you're gonna have this ticket. So the question is, you're gonna have this trusted party's ticket with you, and you're gonna have your trusted party. Well, no, it's you have your actual gold. So you're gonna bring this and this to Zimbabwe or Nigeria or whatever. You're just gonna go that location and try to find a buyer. Which one do you think the buyer will take? Of course, gold, right? Simply because nobody's gonna believe this paper. Nobody's gonna believe. Why do they need to believe the trusted party that's locates in the US instead of their local place? There's no way they can be sure trusted party is trustworthy, right? So, however, if it's gold, people doesn't need to believe you or your trusted party, because gold is gold, right? So what's gonna happen is you really need to have a mobility so that you can carry or you can send or you can move around itself instead of trusted note, right? So let's go back to Bitcoin. Well, by the way, I have Bitcoin addresses. So if you like to send your digital gold, that's fine. That's great. This is only my revenue source for English channel. So if you just like it, just send it in. I will be glad, right? Anyway, all right. Let's go back to this transaction cost, right? Okay. So if this trend continues, and probably will continue, Bitcoin transaction cost will just keep increasing, and it's not gonna stop. And mempool is full, and it takes a long time to confirm, and it's always a controversial issue, right? If this transaction costs keep increasing, what's gonna happen is people just leave their Bitcoin within exchange, and they do not really want to move Bitcoin itself. What's gonna happen is people start using this node, like I have Bitcoin, say 1 Bitcoin. So as of now, Bitcoin price is somewhere around like $8,000. So people start using this, right? I have a Bitcoin paper, and this is a 1 Bitcoin trusted party, and I have a 1 Bitcoin in it, but transaction cost is high and cannot move freely. So I just write down this note of the paper with a trusted party's signature on it. So please believe this. So you need to do that one, right? However, if you are in the United States or like Japan or like Switzerland or like a highly stable country, that's fine. However, if you are in, once again, Zimbabwe or like Nigeria, do you think the buyer will believe this one? No. Buyer will not gonna believe that one. Buyer needs to buy something itself without believing anybody. That's the beauty of Bitcoin, right? So Bitcoin has got a blockchain technology that requires no trust. Blockchain itself is the trust. They actually commoditize the worth of the trust. You don't have to be a big bank, or you don't have to be a big company. You just can be individual. Just use a Bitcoin, and everybody on the network will believe, because that is verified on blockchain. That's the beauty of Bitcoin, right? However, this note, it's not blockchain, it's just a paper, and anybody can write it. So people will not gonna believe that. So the whole point is you need to have gold itself to do the transaction instead of just a ticket, right? That is why gold can store the value. And sometimes Bitcoin referred as digital gold or store of value. However, if you cannot move your Bitcoin freely or like easily, it doesn't mean anything like a digital gold. It can be a digital silver, right? Or digital copper, right? Or digital iron. You can store the value whatever you want, but it's gonna huge. Just like in the old age, people are using a stone money, right? And maybe just leaving this huge stone-shaped money just in front of their home, but that's too heavy, so people cannot move it around. So they just that money sit up front in home, and people started to use notes. That's the same thing. And once again, if they just think about, US dollars, how the US dollar started, that was a node for gold to deposit, right? So people started to deposit gold because gold is too heavy, and because gold cannot chop off, people sometimes need to buy candy or like a dollar piece. However, you cannot really chop off the gold, right? So that was much easier to just deposit gold and just have got a sort of a ticket, like I have gold, right? I have gold ticket. So this ticket became a US dollar, right? So then US dollar was backed by a certain amount of gold. However, at the Nixon shock, it just went out. So this banknote, or this US banknote, is backed by nation's credit, nation's trust, US trust, right? People believes US, that's why United States dollar can be used anywhere on the planet. But it's not really tied to gold anymore. So if things happens, people try to buy gold, such as like if the North Korea shut up the missiles, or like some sort of uncertainty comes in, gold price skyrocket because people try to escape from just a regular money to gold, because gold has got its intrinsic value in it, but cash doesn't. So anyway. So what's going to happen is if the transaction costs keep increasing and the transaction going to be slower, and if you cannot really move around the Bitcoin, store value as a digital gold, it doesn't exist, because digital gold or gold needs to move itself. Digital, gold itself needs to move around, or like a. So I really hope to solve this transaction cost. I do own Bitcoin, and I do own BitcoinCash. I do own several sort of cryptocurrencies. In order to have got more money comes into this cryptocurrency, Bitcoin requires to be Bitcoin. Otherwise, because regular people only knows Bitcoin, and when people start to buy cryptocurrency, people straightly go to Bitcoin. They don't go to Dash, they don't go to Ethereum, they just go to Bitcoin because people only knows Bitcoin, right? So Bitcoin itself needs to stand very strong, and I really hope and I really believe this scaling issue will goes away. However, if it's not, sometimes I hear the argument that, oh, I don't care the transaction cost, because Bitcoin has got a role of store value as a digital gold. Once again, if you cannot move around, it doesn't work as a digital gold. It's gonna be a heavy silver, or it's gonna be a copper, and you cannot really move around. And then you need to start use your paper ticket, and then you need to find your counterparty. You need to find a buyer who believe your counterparty to believe that you have X amount of Bitcoin. Then all the beauty of the Bitcoin will be gone, and it's gonna lose their standpoint of digital gold, or like a store value proposition. So by the way, I do have my friend of dogs here. And anybody likes a real thing, anybody likes a gold itself, anybody likes silver itself, I like my dog itself. I really don't care, note of the ticket. I have a dog, or I have a silver, or I have a gold. If I were a buyer, I would prefer the real gold, or I'd prefer the real silver, even if it's heavy. Well, it's a transportation issue will kick in, but I like my real dog itself. And so once again, if the transaction goes up too much, and it cannot move freely, they will lose a position of digital gold or store of value. It's not gonna work that way. So that's my point. And if you like my YouTube video, please, here is my donation link. The top one is a BTC, and the second one is a BCH. Please don't mix them. These two has got the same, address format. So this is the BitcoinCash, this is the Bitcoin, and this is the Litecoin. So if you just can send a little, digital gold, that's great. And I hope you guys have got a good day. Right? Okay, so I just gonna give a little goodbye to you guys. And right, so thank you for watching the Bitcoin Geek, and I will be creating a little bit more video. Right, so have a good day. Bye bye.